Hey everybody, Moarhammer here from another battle report for you. This is another good one. We're playing South Coast Comp again, 100 pools, and we are playing another one of their missions, which is called Heralds of the Storm. It's a slightly modified version of the one of the battle plans from, I think it's the Quest for Galmaraz book, where you have like a storm front in the middle of the board, and it moves depending on how well you're doing. Anyway, I'll go through the mission in a second, right after I run you through my army and the army breakdown. So here's a picture of deployment, and as you may have seen in the breakdown, I've got a couple of brand new units that I'm using, including Morbidex Twiceborn. So here's how we deploy. It's played lengthways like this rather than widthways, and if you see in the middle of the board, at each board edge, there's a blue counter. That's marking the storm. So as we score our objectives, there are 4 objectives around the centre of the board. So in each, if you split the board into quarters, it'd be in the centre of each quarter. You've got a token, and if you control the most at the end of a battle round, the storm front moves into your opponent's table half. And if you finish the game with the storm front in your opponent's table half, you win. Otherwise, you lose. If it's in your side, you lose. If it's in the middle, it's a draw. Though the only other interesting thing about this mission is that the objectives can only be scored by heroes or monsters. So that means the units aren't quite as difficult. Now this was actually, I'll get to this later, but this was actually a bit of a rule we didn't quite click to at the start, but I'll get to that later. So deployment, on my side, starting at the very top, I've got 3 Beasts of Nurgle, Morbidex Twiceborn, 6 Plague Drones on the hill, behind which is my Herald of Nurgle. Then I've got 15 Chaos Warriors, and then behind the little building, I've got a Sorcerer Lord, my Sorcerer Lord, then Orgot's Demon Spew, then my Rotbringer Sorcerer, and then my unit of Plague Bearers. Then on his side, starting at the top again, he's got a unit of 20 Ghouls, so these are vampire counts for Ghouls. Then he's got 20 Bowmen, 6 Necropolis Knights. Behind that building, you can't see them, he's got a Lich Priest, a Necromancer, and a Vampire Lord. So then on that hill, you've got 10 Tomb Guard, and a Necrosphinx. So, I believe he to finish deploying first. He had the choice of first, and he does give it to me. So I kind of push my stuff forward a little bit tentatively. Morbidex does generate a Nurgling base, who I push forward fairly fast because he can still the Nurgling base can still move the turn he comes in, and so he runs forward just to try and clog some stuff up. I move that big unit of Plague Bearers into the woods, so if his Necrosphinx comes in, I should have a decent chance of fighting that. I also get Mystic Shield off on it. I put Fester and Rot and Demonic Power on my Plague Drones in case he got to charge them. And I put Oracular Visions on Orgots in case he got hit by anything. So, that's all my movements, and I've got no shooting to be done, so we go straight into his turn. And he zooms forward really, really fast. So it was kind of at this point we realised that only heroes can take the objectives. So he tries to fly his Vampire Lord on the left-hand side there over to the objective, but he doesn't quite make it, which means that I'm kind of going to score both these objectives. He's not going to score, so I'm going to get the Stormfront to move to his early on, kind of due to a mistake, which is a bit annoying, but it happens. Neither of us caught it until now, but hopefully it won't be too much of a back foot for him. Anyway, so it turns out those Necrosphinx things are really fast. They can move 12, they can run and charge, and they charge 3d6, taking the 2 highest. So that caught me off guard a little bit, so they're pretty fast. I was a bit worried that he was going to slam into Orgots. He puts his Vampire Lord's command ability of +1 attack onto the snakes, and they push forward. Everything else just comes forward relatively fast. His Bowmen sneak forward a little bit just to take some shots and stuff. So we go into the shooting phase. His Bowmen do take some pot shots at my Plague Drones, but do absolutely nothing, which is wonderful. That's all his shooting though, so he charges in. His Necrosphinx has no problem making it into Orgots, which had me a bit concerned. He then started telling me about what this guy could do, and apparently if he is with his big scythe arm things, if he rolls 2 6s to wound out of 4, I think it's 4 attacks, he does 10 mortal wounds, which is lovely. So he also charges in over here with his ghouls into my Nurgling base. And even though I knew that Nurgling base would die, he's done a pretty good job of clogging them up if I can get the next turn. So he goes over to his Necrosphinx first, and he's able to put 9 wounds onto Orgots. 9 wounds. Oh, it hurts so bad. Right in the pride. So fortunately the Acid Ichor does bite back, and I put 5 wounds onto the Necrosphinx. But he does this thing where he halves the wounds he takes, so rounding up. So he ends up only taking 3 wounds from the Acid Ichor, meaning he's got 9 left. So that was a bit rubbish. So I took 9 wounds on Orgot, so he's now pretty much dead. So I go over here with my Nurgling base just to try and kill one, and I'm able to plink a single one off, which is great because that means he doesn't get the extra attack for having 20 or more models in the unit, so that's actually put quite a big dent in them. So then he piles in around me, and he's only able to do 3 wounds. He rolls like absolute pants here, which is wonderful. So I managed to survive this Nurgling base, and if a Nurgling base survives in the Battle Shock phase, he regenerates all wounds he's lost that turn. So my Nurgling base is those 3 wounds completely irrelevant. He might as well have done nothing. That's perfect. Then I get to go with Orgots, who strikes out pretty hard and does another 3 wounds to the Necrosphinx, which is fantastic. And he's out of stuff, so I pile in with my Chaos Warriors. Attack, and I am able to do only a single extra wound, but it is an extra wound, so at least the Necrosphinx is over half dead now with 7 wounds on him, so there's that at least. But I really need to win the next turn so he doesn't just murder Orgot straight off. So we go to the initiative roll-off, and he does win it. Ooh. Not the best time. At least the ghouls are pinned down by the Nurgling base, which is wonderful. But everything else moves forward. As you can see, the Stormfront has moved. You can see at the back edge, it's moved into his half a little bit, which is great. He's summoned 2 Morghast Archai. I think they're the Archai. So that they're on the field now, which is great. He uses the +1 attack command ability on his snakes again. Pushes them forward, and he also moves his skeleton archers a little bit more forward just so they can get within shooting range of the plague drones. So he goes into the shooting, and they do just that. The archers shoot the plague drones and plink 2 wounds off, which I'll live with that. And then he goes straight into the charge phase and slams his snakes right into the Chaos Warriors. So this is the one he does first. He goes with his Necrosphinx. He's just trying to kill Orgots. He's only going to get 3 wounds through. He does roll really badly here, but it doesn't matter. He smashes Orgots in his face and he goes down. So I've lost my general right in the top of turn 2. Not a great time to lose him, but so he's dead now. That's him out of the way, which is not good. So I pile in with my warriors, puts a bunch of attacks onto the Necrosphinx and a bunch of attacks onto the snakes. I'm able to put, I think, 2 wounds onto the snakes, and I'm able to another 2 wounds onto the Necrosphinx, so that's not too bad. He is going down now, pretty fast, that's good. So then he attacks over here with his ghouls, and this time he's easily able to kill the Nurgling base. He does like 8 wounds or something. He does way better than last time, which is pretty good for him. So he piles in with his snakes then, and he's able to kill 5 total Chaos Warriors. These things are really, really nasty. Quite terrified of them, actually. So I was pretty sure, I knew I was going to get in the next turn because he got the double turn, so I was planning to smash my plague drones into these guys and just try to take them out because they are super nasty. And what's more is we actually made a mistake here. So he's relatively new to the army. I've never played them before. We didn't realise that the snakes attacks themselves do D3 damage. We didn't realise until later on. So this is assuming the snake's bites only do 1 damage each, not D3. So, and I still lost 5 bloodied Chaos Warriors. So there's that, which is great. So anywho, that's the end of the combat. So we could jump straight into my turn. and I push stuff forward. My plague drones, like I said, come around the side to take on the snakes. I do cast, from my Rotbringer Sorcerer, I cast the Stream of Corruption at the Necrosphinx, and I think I'm pulling another 2 wounds off him with that, which is perfect. So he's only got 1 wound left. My Plague Bearers get ready to charge the snakes. My Plague Drones get ready to charge the snakes. My Herald is staying just within 3 inches of that objective, so I'm scoring it. And my Chaos Sorcerer Lord is moving towards that objective to try and so he can hold back and the Herald can go forward. Then by the drones, you've got the beasts. They came forward. If I can charge the archers, great. If not, I should be able to hit the ghouls fairly easily. And then Morbidex is going straight into the ghouls. He did generate another 2 Nurgling bases this turn. They're sitting, or maybe just 1. They're sitting just behind Morbidex. You can't quite see him because he's in the way. So that's my movement phase. In the shooting phase, Morbidex uses his tongue attack and licks 3 ghouls to death, which is wonderful. Pretty good guy. And my Plague Drones throw some Death's Heads, long-range Death's Heads, at the Necrosphinx and bring him down, which is perfect. They're getting mortal wounds on 6s. I rolled the 1/6 I needed. He only had 1 wound left. The thing goes down, which is perfect. Really happy to have that thing out of the way. And avenge for Orgots! Revenge! Anywho, with no more shooting left, we go into the charge phase, and I slam into these snakes, and I'm ready to take them down. Plague Drones go in, Plague Bearers go in, and the Warriors are still in there. I do make a point of keeping the Plague Drones 3 inches away from the Morghast, because I didn't want him piling in this turn. So, I also charge in over here with Morbidex, and the beasts didn't make the charge long enough to get the archers, so I put them in here anyway, just to make sure these ghouls go down. So, I go with my Plague Drones first, as you might expect, and they smash 3 of the snakes apart, which is really good going. I roll pretty well. I've got my mortal wounds on 6s, so that's fantastic. Really happy to have these guys decently taken out of the way. Then he piles in with his ghouls and does pretty well again. He puts 4 wounds onto a single beast and a single wound onto Morbidex, which is what it is. I'm okay with that. So Morbidex can regenerate wounds. That's quite a big bonus for him. So hopefully I can get rid of that wound. So then I pile in with my Chaos Warriors. I attack and I'm able to do another. I don't do that well. I think I just put another 1 or 2 wounds onto the snakes. He rolls quite well for his saves, and I roll like pants. So yeah, I think I put 1 wound onto a snake. Then he attacks back with his snakes. He kills a whole Chaos Warrior, and he puts 4 wounds onto a Plague Drone. Most of his attacks go onto the Plague Drone, but he's not able to do anything to the Plague Bearers, which is fine. Then Morbidex pulls around, attacks, and he does really well. He murders 6 of them, 8 of them maybe. So he does really well. I'm impressed with that guy. Quite good. And then I pile in with my beasts and attack, and I'm able to slap all the rest of them down apart from 2. So there are 2 remaining ghouls, and at this point I'm pretty sure they can't, unless he rolls a 1, they'll fail. They'll all die on Battle Shock, which is wonderful. So we go into the initiative roll-off, we go to Battle Shock first, and he rolls when he needs to, or maybe they lost here from Battle Shock. Yeah, I think that might be what it was. This is actually the Battle Shock picture, so the beasts do nothing. He rolls badly on his Battle Shock, and there's 2 ghouls left. That's the point. 2 ghouls left. So, we go to the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is wonderful. Not a bad time to win it. Cast a couple of spells. I put Demonic Power back onto the Plague Drones. I put Oracular Visions onto Morbidex. But that's about it. That's about all I cast. So, the movement is relatively little. I generate another 2 Nurgling bases from Morbidex, and they start coming around the back of him. I flee with my Beasts of Nurgle, because they can flee and charge, so I get them out of there, hopefully going to smash into the archers and take them down a little bit. I know Morbidex can kill those 2 remaining ghouls. I was hoping he could do it with shooting, so then I could charge somewhere else. And other than that, everything is kind of stuck in combat with the snakes. I do Arcane Bolt the snakes as well. Plinking that remaining snake off, so he's out of the way now, which is great. Sorry about the terrible picture, but this is me tonguing the ghouls. I only do 1, unfortunately, so there's still a ghoul remaining, and I'm struggling to figure out how I can kill that last remaining 1, but I can't, which sucks. So we go into the charge phase. The beasts slam in here, no problem, and hopefully I can do a decent amount of damage. So I pile in with my plague drones first. I do pile in around like this. I know he'll be able to countercharge with his Morghast, or be able to pile in with his Morghast, but I wanted to get as many attacks with my plague drones as possible just to take out the snakes, and that's exactly what I do. They pile in, the snakes are gone now, they're out of the way, which is wonderful. Really happy to have that burden out on my side. So, he then attacks with his archers, he piles in, he's only able to do a single wound to a beast though, so there's one left with one remaining. With one wound remaining even. And then I attack with Morbidex, who is surprisingly easily able to smash the remaining ghoul apart, which is great. So then he piles in with his Morghast Archai, and he's able to kill a single plague drone, which is fine. He was nearly dead now, so he basically does 3 wounds to them altogether. So kills a plague drone and puts a wound on another. That's fine. Then I attack with my beasts, and they do pretty well. I'm able to kill 8 total skeleton archers, which is wonderful, so their numbers are hopefully going to dwindle swiftly. And I think he loses another 1 or 2 to Battle Shock, but that's fine. So we go into his turn. His skeleton archers regenerate a couple. They regenerate D6. He gets 4 or 5 back, which is what it is. As long as I can get Morbidex in there ASAP, he should be able to do the damage the beasts can't. So, other than that movement, his Tomb Guard on the hill. The entire game they've been sitting on the objective, planting their shields. They get +1 save, so they're sporting a 2-op save when they're in cover. So that's what they're doing. They're just guarding that objective. He casts a bunch of things. He puts his command ability from the vampire on the Morghast. But other than that, that's all his movement. He doesn't really have a whole lot. So we go into the shooting phase. His archers take point blank range at my beasts and are able to kill one and put 4 wounds onto another. So 5 wounds total, which is pretty good. And then he goes into the combat phase. Attacks with these guys first, surprisingly. And this is where he does quite a lot of damage. He managed to smash 2 plague drones apart total and puts 2 wounds onto another. So it's quite a lot of damage, which was not good for me. But, hey-oh, got to take what you get. And so I attack with my beasts next, able to kill 4 skeleton warriors. Then he attacks back, killing another beast and putting a wound on the last one, so a total of 3 wounds. So this beast really needs a bit of backup ASAP. So I pile in with my plague drones, and I roll absolute pants, unfortunately. I only do a single wound to a Morghast, so that's not great, but I'll have to take it. And then we go into his turn. He does manage to get the double turn here. So, again, there's not a whole lot of movement for him to do, but he does the standard command ability. He puts Mystic Shield on his Tomb Guard. He puts the Vampire's command ability on the Morghast Archai. So in the shooting phase, he fires another whole bunch of archers at the beast and puts another 2 wounds onto him. Not quite as well as last time. This guy needs some help badly now, otherwise he's going to get bludgeoned to death by skeletons. He generated another couple of skeletons from his banner in the hero phase as well, so these guys are now not looking too bad. So he goes straight into the combat phase, and he attacks with his Morghast first, and manages to smash another 2 plague drones apart, which is not good. These guys now are in dire need of help. Turns out I really underestimated these Morghast. But anywho, so I attack my beast next, only able to kill a single archer, which is pitiful at best. But when he attacks back, he's not quite able to kill him. He only puts a single wound on, so my beast is hanging in strong. Go beast! So I pile in with my plague drone attack, but I'm not actually able to do anything, which is sad. So we go to the initiative roller? No, we go straight into my turn. And this is what I do. I push Morbidex forward, who generates another 2 Nurgling bases next to him. That's the total sum of my Nurgling bases I can generate this game. I put Oracular Visions and Demonic Power onto Morbidex. No, sorry, I put Demonic Power onto Morbidex, Oracular Visions and Mystic Shield onto the Chaos Warriors. Because they were going into the Morghast, because I needed them dead. Equally, my Nurglings, 3 of the Nurglings came around. They're going to help charge as well. And everything else was just going to do what I could. So, I've got no shooting. Oh, sorry, So I flee with my plague drone. I knew these single plague drones could be quite useful for objective taking or character assassination. So I don't want them to just die to the Morghast, and getting them out of there allows more plague bearers and warriors to get into base. So he flees and jumps into that forest just behind the Morghast, planning to throw a Death's Head or next turn charge or whatever I can do to this Necromancer or one of his characters or something. So that's his plan. Then charge phase, all of these 3 units make it in, the Nurglings, the Warriors, and the Plague Bearers, which is fantastic. And then Morbidex over here makes it into the Skeleton Archers, which is wonderful. So I go over here first with my Chaos Warriors, I believe, and I do pretty well. I'm able to bludgeon 4 wounds onto the Morghast, which is wonderful. So he attacks back. He's able to kill 3 Plague Bearers, with 1, but the other Morghast does nothing. I think he totally fluffs his rolls, which I'm a big fan of. So then I attack with Morbidex, and holy hell! With this guy re-rolling 1s, he's an absolute powerhouse. He murders every single skeleton warrior with ease. Ease! So this guy's in my good books. I'm a big fan of this Morbidex. What a debut, eh? Even though they're only skeletons, I guess, but still, I'll take it. So over here, my plague bearers and Nurglings pile in attack. The plague bearers are able to kill the last Morghast. Then the Nurglings pile in because he's got nothing left to attack with, and do a single wound to the Archai, which is great. Nurglings, yay! So we go into the initiative roll-off, and I win it, which is pretty good. I surround that Necromancer on the left-hand side, or the top side, with Morbidex, my Nurglings, and the Beast, so they should have a pretty good chance of doing something to him. I recast Mystic Shield and Oracular Visions on my Warriors, so they're doing their thing. Other than that, there's not a whole lot. I end up not really moving my Plague Drone or thinking about what my Beasts and Nurglings are doing at this point anyway. We're on the sort of bottom end of the turns, if not the last turn now, and he can't score the objective. He won't be able to score the objective to get the movement back properly, and I just need to kill this Necromancer to score another point, another objective, and move the Stormfront further back into his table half. So I think I've got the game in the bag at this point. I totally skip my shooting because I don't need to, and charge into the Necromancer with Morbidex. I leave the Beast and Nurglings out of it just to let Morbidex do the job. But I do attack with my, I believe my Plague Bearers attack first. And they're able to completely kill the Morghast, which is wonderful. So yep, that thing's out of the picture now. Been mugged by Plague Bearers, that's great. So we go, he attacks with his Necromancer, does nothing, and then I smush him into the ground, which is wonderful. So that guy's now out of the way. Good job, Morbidex. Beating up someone smaller than you. So we go into his turn. And he actually does do a bit of movement now. His Vampire Lord and Tomb Guard come off the hill because he knows there's no point staying there. And he just simply charges straight into the back end of the Plague Bearers. He knows he can't really win now, so he's just trying to do as much damage as possible. Which turns out to be quite a lot. His Tomb Guards smash in and end up killing 7 Plague Bearers, which is pretty good going. But my Plague Bearers then attack back, killing 3 Tomb Guard. And then his Necromancer, his Vampire attacks, does a couple of wounds, and then in come my Warriors and smash another 3 Tomb Guard apart. So, despite his best efforts, he was still slightly outmatched by my guys. And there you have it. There's the end of the game, with 2 turns worth of Stormfront moving back into his, with none moving back into mine. I win the primary objective and therefore win the game, which was a really fantastic game. I really enjoyed playing the Tomb Kings, even though they may not be an army anymore, which I really hope is not true, because it was really good fun playing these guys. They're a good challenge. Those snakes and the Necrosphinx, so brutal. I would have to be so careful next time I play this army, because those guys are really nasty. But other than that, really good game. Really enjoyed using Morbidex for the first time, and I really like this comp pool because it allows for summoning. So I'm not sure if you know how the summoning works. you can take out certain pools of your own army, and you get double that in summoning pool. So if you start the game with 80 pools instead of 100, you have 40 pools in your summoning pool, so you can summon from there. Obviously, you get more because there's the risk-reward of summoning, but it's a pretty nice way of making it work, so it allows summoning, which is a really cool mechanic and nice to see. But anyway, thanks very much for watching the game. Please like the video, subscribe or comment below, and follow me on Twitter at @MoreWarGames for plenty more information about my armies. And I'll see you in the future for plenty more battle reports. Thanks guys, cheers.